Hi, and good morning to you once again. Join me as I take you on a journey into a possible trading opportunity that I have identified here on the USDCHF. With a very strong reversal pattern identified here on the 4 hours time frame, that is, we have a double top structure around this area, which is from a technical perspective a very strong reversal pattern, and we have an outright breakdown of the neckline of of this reversal pattern. Having a clue that tends towards a bearish bias on the USD CHF. But when that bearish momentum is going to continue, is going to begin its second phase, is where I'm still yet to identify here. But before I do, I think it is necessary we scale up to the daily time frame to actually see what picture we have from an holistic perspective. So scaling up a little into the 4 hours time frame, I want to see how price action has been playing out in the past, at least in the last couple of months. Let's see what has been happening. And I think I shared something on this last week on the USD CHF, where actually we took some trading opportunities on this one and we had some profits. We took some selling momentums. You can look at the link in the comment section if you want to um, take a reference look of this. So on this one, we noticed how we've been having a rejection of the 1.0250 area. We saw the first rejection here by the sellers. We saw the second rejection here by the sellers, giving us a clue into how strong the sellers are at this point in the market. And since we saw this bearish impulsive move to the downside, price came back up, but unfortunately, price couldn't go beyond the 0.99 level, giving us a clue that probably sellers are actually coming in to push price further to the downside. And if we look at the current structure we have, that is the one that we have here since mid June, we can see that we have an impulse leg. Sorry, hold on a second. We have an impulse leg here as price came right from 1.00500 area into the 10.94. I think is 0.94500. Wow, a very strong psychological level as well. And we saw something that looks like a retracement fade back into the 0.98570, where I showed you on the 4 hours time frame we saw a reversal pattern around this area, and this could probably send price crashing to the downside from here. So from a long-term perspective, what we have here is I want to project that impulse leg into giving us a clue into where our take profit target is going to be. What do I mean by that? So we have an impulsive move here, that's the impulse leg. Then I want to project this impulse leg into the future using my Fibonacci extension tool with the hopes of aiming at a 127.2, at least the area between the 127.2 and the 1414 area as my take profit target. And if we run our Fibonacci extension tool right through the previous impulse leg, we have our 127.2 and the 1414 area right around the 0.92, between the 0.9220 area and the 0.935 area as a possible take profit target zone if the selling momentum finally begins in that direction. So I will want to give this a label so that we have a clearer perspective into where our take profit target is going to be if price finally moves in that direction. So let me label this area. Let's have it right in the middle of this box. Good. So this is what we have here. So I would like to delete this one as it's no longer relevant. So with the information we have here on the daily time frame, I think is now, before we do that, let's look at how many pips that is we have. We have almost 300, 350 pips to catch if price actually move in that direction. So one thing I want to be looking out for at this point is to scale down to the 4 hours time frame and let us see how we can actually take advantage of any trading opportunity here on the USD. CHF. So, like I said, let me show you a visual representation of what I'm talking about. We saw the breakdown of the neckline, a little retest of structure, price broke down, respected this level and came back down, broke through the 0.96900, which is a strong key level I identified here on the 4 hours time frame. And the reason why I identified that level, if we look left, we can see that this area has been a level that has held price supported for some time. Then we saw it happen here again with the intention of pushing price up, but the buyers failed and price did break down of that level one more time, a breakdown and a retest of that structure. And this is more or less a clue into how significant that level is. And because of this, I was able to identify that area as my key level for the new week. So, what am I expecting to see during the early hours of the week? Are we going to see an outright breakdown of this level? Or is there a possibility that price could still come back into the key level here at 0.969 area before we start seeing that bearish momentum to the downside from here? In addition to the key level also, I was able to identify a bearish trend line after connecting the series of lower highs here. We have a trend line. So we're having like two parameters that will be guiding our actions. The first one is the key level at 0.969 and this bearish trend line. So if price comes back up, I want to see a rejection of this parameters for me to join the decline to the downside. So one thing I'm looking out for is first probably price rejects this level and comes to the downside, or probably the key level at 0.969 before we see that bearish move to the downside. One thing I also want to state here is this: there is a possibility that price could actually do a breakout of the structure, come back into the neckline of that reversal pattern that we identified earlier at 0.97600 area, after which we start seeing multiple rejections of this level that would likely to push price to the downside. So for me personally, if that happens, then we could enter that trade, and then if we see a breakdown of the key level at 0.969, a retest of that level one more time, we want to actually do add one more position to this trade at the site of a confirmation that we're actually going to the downside from here. So this is the scenario I'm looking out for. I'm more or less bearish on this one. And then another thing I also want to share using the daily time frame is that if we look at the structure we have here, if we look left, we saw what happened here in the early days of June, where this area was held as a demand zone, and this area also during the later part of June was also a strong demand zone. So one thing we want to be careful of or be mindful of on this one is that this area is likely possible going to be a demand zone in the future. So how do we want to do that? We want to look out for our take profit target in short term. If we see the rejection of the parameters I shared with you on the 4 hours time frame, we want to be using that area as our first take profit target zone. At least we don't want to be too over ambitious, as we want to see how price action is going to relate with that area. Then if we see an outright breakout of that level during the course of the week, then a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to add more uh, more positions to our existing trade, with our target sitting around the 0.93 area as projected earlier. So I would like to pause the video at this point, but rest assured that during the early hours of the new week, after monitoring price action, I will be sharing an update in the comment section to see how for you to see how I plan to take advantage of any potential opportunity coming up. So on this note, I would like to pause the video, and if this video in any way has been of help in making your own individual decision, kindly support this video by clicking the like button, and I will be glad you did. Also, you might also want to follow me on my TradingView platform so that you don't miss out on the regular updates I normally share in this regard. Thank you very much for liking this video. Thank you for watching, and do have a wonderful day. Bye bye.